They built 96 houses on my land. Not by accident. On purpose. I drove up expecting to see pine trees and mountains, but instead, I found paved roads, cul-de-sacs, and families carrying furniture into houses they thought they owned. A woman with a Rolex and a permanent smirk told me I was a squatter and nobody, and that the property now belonged to their HOA. I said nothing. I let them finish construction, every nail, every pool, every house. Then, when they were celebrating, I walked into court with one thing they could never fake: the original deed. My name is Dakota Flint. I am a structural engineer, divorced, raising 2 kids in college, and driving a Silverado that leaks oil like a sieve. Nothing about me screams powerful or important. Except one thing. I inherited 47 acres of Colorado forest, land that my grandfather, William Flint, bought with cash in 1971. Grandpa was not a man of luxury. He was a Depression-era survivor who saved coffee cans full of nails, patchwork shirts until they were threadbare, and believed a handshake was more binding than a contract. When he died in 2019, he left me that land. Alongside the deed was one note in his handwriting: "Do not let the bastards take what is yours." At the time, I thought it was just his stubbornness. He hated developers, hated corporations, hated anyone who thought money gave them power. But I kept paying the property taxes, $6,400 every April, never late, always online. My records were airtight: email receipts, bank statements, county confirmations. Life, though, got in the way. My marriage fell apart. Tuition bills stacked up. My career demanded 70-hour weeks. I did not have time for weekend drives to mountains. For 3 years, I never visited the land. I assumed it would be there, untouched, the same pine forest where Grandpa once walked with me and said, "This will outlive us both." That land was worth over $4 million. More than money, it was history, heritage, and family legacy. But legacies do not protect themselves. And while I worked myself to exhaustion, someone else was planning to take everything Grandpa had left behind. It was August 2022 when I finally drove back. The plan was simple: scatter Grandpa's ashes beneath the old-growth pines, say a quiet goodbye, and drive home. Instead, I turned off the highway and froze. The trees were gone, every single one. In their place stood 96 identical houses, beige stucco with fake balconies. A stone entrance arch declared, Ridgeline Heights, a Whitmore luxury community. There were paved streets, streetlights, even kids on scooters. At the gatehouse, a security guard stopped me. "Residents only," he said, smirking at my old truck. I told him I owned this land. He laughed in my face. Then she appeared, Cassandra Whitmore, mid-50s, linen clothes that cost more than my mortgage, Botox into a permanent expression of surprise. She looked me up and down, work boots, calloused hands, and smiled like she had already filed me under poor. "You must be mistaken," she said. "This development belongs to Whitmore Enterprises. Our title company confirmed the land was abandoned. Adverse possession makes it legally ours." I told her I had been paying taxes. She waved a manicured hand like swatting a fly. Adorable. But this is a legitimate subdivision. 96 homes already pres-old. Families are moving in. If you keep trespassing, I will personally call the sheriff. We donate generously to his department. Then she snapped a photo of my license plate and whispered, "People like you never win against people like us." I drove home with my hands shaking. My grandfather's forest had been erased, replaced with houses selling for nearly $500,000 each. They had stolen everything. But in her arrogance, Cassandra had handed me the weapon I needed. Proof they knew there was a dispute, yet they kept building. That night, I spread Grandpa's documents across my kitchen table. The 1971 deed. 47 years of tax receipts. Survey maps. Email confirmations. My case was ironclad. The next morning, I called Cassandra's attorney, Brian Keir. His receptionist offered me a nuisance settlement of $15,000 if I signed a quitclaim deed. $15,000 for $4 million worth of land. It was an insult. I hung up. I knew I needed real firepower. My divorce lawyer was fine for splitting a timeshare, but this was war. A friend recommended an attorney named Lydia Chun. She once beat a railroad company so badly, they offered her a job to shut her up. Her office smelled like lemon polish and old leather. She listened silently while I told her everything. When I finished, she tapped my stack of receipts and smiled. Adverse possession in Colorado requires 18 years of open, continuous occupation, and taxes must be paid. You've been paying. Their claim is dead on arrival. I expected her to file an injunction immediately. Instead, she leaned forward. You will think I am crazy, but do not stop them. Let them finish. When they complete all 96 houses, we file for declaratory judgment. You will not only own the land, you will own every house. Fraud this blatant carries damages, attorney fees, maybe even criminal charges. They will beg to settle. I stared at her. What if they win somehow? They will not. And if they do, you lose nothing. Your land is already occupied. But if you stop them now, it becomes a circus of lawsuits from homeowners, banks, insurance companies. Let Cassandra hang herself. I walked out with my stomach churning. But she was right. Every nail they hammered was another piece of evidence. Every sale was another count of fraud. From that moment forward, I kept quiet. Let them build. Let them think I was powerless. Because when the time came, I would bury them. Weeks passed and Ridgeline Heights grew fast. Every visit, I took photos from the public road. Cassandra noticed. She called the sheriff. A young deputy pulled me aside, embarrassed. She says, "You are harassing her," he muttered. I handed him my deed. He sighed. "Look, if she calls again, I will have to act." Translation: she donates to his re-election. Then came the smear campaign. One morning, my daughter called, crying, "Dad, did you get arrested? Facebook says you are stalking families." I opened the post. Cassandra had written a public warning. Beware of local man Dakota Flint. He claims to own our neighborhood. He photographs children. Protect your families. The comments were vicious. People call me a predator. They posted my truck and license plate. At work, my boss called me in. A school district client is nervous. You are on leave until this clears. My neighbors avoided me like I carried a disease. Cassandra was not just stealing my land. She was trying to destroy my life. Then came the false reports. Co-enforcement showed up, claiming I was running an illegal dump site on the property. The inspector, Rick Polson, walked the grounds and shook his head. There is nothing here. Someone filed a false report through Mrs. Whitmore's office. Every move they made, Lydia told me, was perfect. They are documenting their fraud. Every threat, every smear, every fake complaint will be evidence. But it was crushing me. My daughter got harassed at college. My son's job was threatened after a private investigator questioned his manager. Then the IRS announced an audit based on an anonymous tip. I felt surrounded, outnumbered, but Lydia's words kept echoing. Desperate people make mistakes. Let them dig deeper. So I stayed silent. I took photos. I saved emails. I documented every lie. And every night, I stare at Grandpa's note. Do not let the bastards take what is yours. By November, families were moving into Ridgeline Heights. I watched them carrying cribs, plant trees, string Christmas lights. They were not villains. They were victims, too, buying homes built on stolen land. Meanwhile, Lydia uncovered everything. Whitmore Development was funded by Cassandra's husband's investment firm. They bribed officials to fast-track permits. They filed an adverse possession claim, but never took it to court. Fraud, pure and simple. Then came the smoking gun, an internal email where Preston Whitmore admitted they knew I was a legal owner, but decided to build anyway, counting on burying me in legal fees. That email was dynamite. In January, we had our first hearing. Cassandra's lawyer filed a motion to dismiss, claiming I abandoned the land. The judge asked one question: did he pay taxes? The lawyer stuttered. Well, yes, the judge cut him off. Then adverse possession fails. Motion denied. For the first time, I saw Cassandra's smirk falter. The trial was set for February. Lydia told me, "Stay quiet. Do not take the bait. We are building the kill shot." February arrived. The courthouse was packed. Dozens of homeowners filled the benches, terrified of losing their houses. Cassandra sat at the defense table with her husband and an army of lawyers. She smiled at me like victory was guaranteed. The judge entered. Lydia rose for the opening. Her voice was thunder. "This case is not about misunderstanding. It is about theft, not with master guns, but with LOCs and lies. The defendants knew Mr. Flint owned this land. They built anyway. They sold homes they never had the right to sell." Then she unveiled the email. Preston Whitmore's words in black and white. "The Flint parcel is not abandoned. His grandson has been paying taxes. Adverse possession will not hold up. Build fast, sell fast, create chaos, bury him in litigation." The courtroom fell silent. The judge turned to Preston. "Is this email authentic?" His lawyer tried to dodge. The judge leaned forward. "Answer." Preston's shoulder sagged. "Yes." That was the crack in the dam. Over 7 hours, Lydia destroyed them. The title company admitted to taking bribes. The code inspector testified about false complaints. Deputies confirmed harassment. My grandfather's ledgers proved continuous ownership since 1971. Preston crumbled on the stand, contradicting himself until even his own lawyer looked disgusted. Cassandra refused to testify, hiding behind the Fifth Amendment. By the end, the defense had nothing left but excuses. The judge recessed, promising a ruling within 24 hours. As I walked out, homeowners crowded around me. "What happens to us?" a woman asked, tears in her eyes. Lydia nodded at me. I spoke loud enough for everyone. "You keep your homes. You did nothing wrong. The fraud was theirs, not yours." For the first time in months, people clapped for me instead of spitting at my name. The judge's ruling came the next morning. I won everything. Full title to land, all 96 houses, over $4 million in damages and attorney's fees. Cassandra and Preston were referred for criminal prosecution. Their company dissolved. Their assets seized. I could have evicted every family and sold the houses for millions. Instead, I created a community trust. Each family kept their home at the price they already paid. No evictions, no new mortgages. Just justice. I kept 5 acres at the north end, where the old pines still stand. Built a cabin. Moved in. Every morning, I sipped coffee watching the sunrise, thinking of Grandpa's note. He was right. Do not let the bastards take what is yours.